foundational to we as Christians and to us as a community that we forgive. This morning, the same loving and compassionate Jesus is present here among us. He promised that whenever 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, he is there. You know, in every single Christian church, you are sure to find a cross. And the reason for the cross is that it stands as forever and always a symbol, a statement, an action that God has done on our behalf so that we could stand in his presence, not humbly laying on the floor in begging submission, but rather that we would be able to stand upright, that we would be able to stand as sons and daughters in his presence. There is an innumerable amount of times that we are meant to forgive one another, that our lives have to be marked and trademarked, patented by forgiveness, because forgiveness has first and foremost been given to us by God. Jesus is making very clear, understand what the cross means for you as Christians. Understand what my death means for you as a follower. Understand that forever and always, the Father has taken away any separation between you and he, and that forever now, you have the ability of living upright in his presence, not as a slave, but as a son and daughter, and thereby, because God has treated us this way, that God has granted us this gift, that God has taken away that separation, we are not free. We are not free not to forgive one another in the very same way. We must act as God has acted with us. What we have here is a God who does not act with forgiveness. We have a God who is forgiveness. His attitude is one of forgiveness. And so in the end, though injustice, he goes and finds that slave free, brings him back and holds him responsible, his attitude of forgiveness is still there for his wife, for his family, and for all generations yet to come. We will get forgiveness in the very same length and width and depth that we give it to others. It's in direct correlation to how we act to others that we in turn will be acted upon by God. And so the challenge to us, which Matthew's gospel is trying to address, is that it is not enough to bask in the cross. It is not enough to declare to ourselves and to the world that the cross makes us redeemed and present and sons and daughters of God. It is not enough simply to hold the cross high and say, by this cross, all things in me are made whole and perfect, and I have everlasting life. It is not enough because our lives must reflect the reality of the cross's forgiveness in the depths of our souls. So even here, the very command and example of this Lord that we should have forgiven others isn't just simply because the Lord has done it to us, but that ultimately it is in God's plan that by doing so, we are actually the beneficiaries of providing forgiveness to one another. May we have the grace that God will conform us into the image and likeness and attitude